Luca Marini signed for Tech3 this week. The day before it was announced, he had already told you exactly what he thinks of the factory he is leaving, and it was not a thank you. Honda's best rider in 2026 looked at the 850cc reset, the rulebook that is supposed to hand every struggling manufacturer a clean sheet, and said the order at the front will not move. Aprilia and Ducati stay on top. That is not a farewell. That is a verdict, and it comes from a man who spent a day in June riding Honda's own 2027 prototype. So what did he see on that bike? And why is the second Honda rider explaining his exit in the same week? Here is why one line from a transfer week matters more than the transfer. 2027 was sold to the entire paddock as the great equaliser. Smaller engines, Pirelli tyres for everyone, ride height devices banned, aerodynamics cut back. Every factory sitting behind Ducati was told to hold on, because the reset was coming. Honda leaned on that promise harder than anybody. It is the reason a winless season can still be framed as patience instead of failure. But an excuse only works while somebody inside the garage believes it. Strip that belief out, and this season stops being a transition. It becomes what it already looks like from the outside. And the rider Honda is losing has just stripped it out. Start with where he is actually going. Marini leaves a factory Honda seat for Tech3, a satellite KTM team, on a 2-year deal covering 2027 and 2028. Factory riders do not normally take that step sideways and down. They take it when the factory bike underneath them has stopped being an asset and started being a ceiling. He joined Honda at the start of 2024 after leaving VR46, and he has not stood on a MotoGP podium in their colours since. Not one. Yet, he is currently the leading Honda rider in the championship, and by his own measure, the leading rider on any Japanese machine. That is the strange part. He is winning the internal fight, and it is buying him nothing. Listen to how he describes his own season. He says he has underperformed in qualifying, that he has never found his rhythm on the bike, that he starts 15th or 16th and then has to carve his way into the top 10. That is Honda's best man describing his weekends as damage control. And that is before you get anywhere near what he said about the machine itself. Marini's read on the bike is blunt in a way factory riders are usually paid not to be. He has tried everything, and he says so. By now, I've really tried everything on the bike this year. We've changed so many things and we're no longer making progress. No more progress. In August, with nearly half the championship still to run. And the standings do not argue with him. Honda sit 4th among the constructors on 119 points, nearer to Yamaha behind them than to KTM in front. It is almost 5 years since a Honda won a Grand Prix, back when Marc Marquez took Misano in 2021. That is the record the reset is supposed to erase. And, oh yeah, there is one more part of this that nobody put in a headline. Honda has stopped bringing him anything at all. Marini says it plainly. We know we won't be getting any more updates beyond what we have now. The 850cc bikes are here, and all the new resources are focused on the new bike. Sit with that. The factory has quietly ended development on the machine. Its riders still have to race for the rest of the year. Not paused, ended. Every engineer, every euro, every hour is already on the reset. That would be a defensible gamble if the reset were the answer. So what happened when Marini rode it? He tested Honda's 2027 prototype at Brno in June. Alongside him that day was Joan. 2 riders, both already on their way out, handed the machine Honda's entire future rests on. On the bike itself, Marini was almost generous. The bike is a bit slower, but it's still more or less a MotoGP bike. It's still a great MotoGP bike. Fine. Nothing broken there. Then he was asked the only question that actually matters. Would the reset reorder anything? In my opinion, the technical balance on the track will remain more or less the same, because Aprilia and Ducati have proven to be the ones that have worked best, in terms of their approach, optimizing resources and budget in the right areas of the bike. Read what that sentence is really doing. He is not blaming the engine, He is not blaming 1,000 cubic centimeters versus 850 cubic centimeters, or the tires, or the aero. He is saying the gap is a working method. How a company decides what to spend, where to spend it, and whose feedback survives the trip to Japan. You cannot legislate that away with a rulebook. Ducati and Aprilia carry their method into the new era, and Honda carries theirs. Make no mistake, a Honda rider just told you Honda's problem is Honda. Now widen it, because Marini is not the only one walking. Joan is leaving the same factory team for Gresini, and he has admitted the move was shaped by watching the Marquez brothers rebuild themselves at that exact team. A former world champion is copying an escape route. That is what Honda has become in the rider market. Not a destination, a place people plan their exit from. Mir does not hide it. "I need a change for my mind, for everything," he said. And then the line that should worry Honda. "I cannot wait more time." He will finish 4 years there without a single race win. 2 podiums in 2025 remain his best work in those colours. And he framed it as something other than a career calculation. This decision was taken with the heart. I think if you take the decision with the heart, it's the right one. So here is the flip. People thought Honda's problem was a bike, and that new rules fix bikes. It was never the bike. Both riders who tested Honda's 850 cubic centimeters future climbed off it and chose to be elsewhere. And one of them said out loud that the future will look like the present. Honda is not losing riders because the RC213V is slow. Honda is losing riders because nobody left inside believes the reset changes what Honda is. And this is where Honda's answer starts to look thin. The plan for 2027 is Fabio Quartararo, bought from Yamaha, with David Alonso or Diogo Moreira expected alongside him. A former world champion and a rookie. It reads like ambition, but look at the order these events actually happened in. Quartararo was announced in July. By the time Marini agreed terms with Tech3, his seat was already gone. He did not jump before he was pushed. He was replaced first, then told the truth on the way out, which is the only moment a factory rider ever gets. That is the real cost of this week, and it is not 2 riders. It is a verdict from the 2 men who know that machine best, delivered while the project is sold as a fresh start. Quartararo is inheriting a bike whose own development riders rode the reset and said the pecking order holds. Honda did not buy a solution. Honda bought a headline, and the people who rode the actual solution had already priced it. So the question is no longer whether Honda can build an 850cc bike. It is whether anyone left inside believes it will matter. Do you think Quartararo knew what Marini knew before he signed? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video appearing on your screen right now.